All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast. I mean, this is a birdie fest.
It's a Philly show, baby.
Philly
Let's
show.
go.
All right, welcome in to Swing It and Ding It. This is Moose along with Mays and Matthews, and we are sponsored by Buy My Balls. We'll talk about them later. And another big announcement today, BetParx. We teased it a little bit, but our new sports book sponsor, we'll talk about that when we see the line a little bit later for the Zurich Classic. Now Harry's got a couple guys circled for that, but we are keeping it Philly as we like to do. And with the Truist Championship approaching, we are joined by Joie Chitwood, Executive Director for the 2025 Truist Championship. Joey, welcome to Swing It and Ding It.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here. Love to talk to anybody who wants to talk about golf. So this is the highlight of my day versus a lot of paperwork, a lot of operational issues. Let's chat about golf and how excited we are to be in Philadelphia.
We'd like to talk to you about some stanchions and some pylons first, if we can get into that a little bit and where people are going to park. No, I'm just kidding. Joe, we talk a lot about the golf journey, right? We talk to a lot of people, whether they're players, whether they're coaches. You have a bit of a circuitous route, if you will, into the game of golf. Talk about your background and your history, and now what has led you to this.
So do we have like an hour or two for me to get into?
Take as much time as you want.
I will do an abbreviated version, and it really dates back to my grandfather. So my grandfather was in motorsports, spent his career in that. He was a race car driver, raced at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, finished fifth in the Indy 500 three times, first man to ever wear a seatbelt at the Indy 500. 1946, they averaged 120 miles per hour around that racetrack. I don't know about you guys. I do not want to get thrown from a car at 120 miles per hour. That's a story for another day, but racing was outlawed in World War II. And so here, my grandfather's an out-of-work race car driver, so he buys the remnants of an automobile stunt show. It was owned and operated by Lucky Teeter. He was a stuntman out of Noblesville, Indiana. My grandfather buys the remnants from the widow. Lucky Teeter wasn't that lucky in terms of his namesake. And my grandfather becomes a stuntman. And so for the latter part of the 40s, he's both a stuntman and race car driver. By 1950, the stunt show is gangbusters. We've got 5 units touring the United States. Fairs, speedways, you name it, we're there. And we did that from 1943 to 1998. I spent 20 years on the road. I had a truck driver's license. I drove a car carrier. I have probably slept in half of the truck stops and rest areas in this country. We'd leave Tampa in June and not come back to October, 5 months on the road. Wow. And I actually did not want to go to college. I just assumed I'd keep working in the family business. My dad was very adamant that I go because my dad had not been to college. And so with the family business, I wasn't really that interested. So I really didn't apply myself. So if you're going to go someplace and not apply yourself, I would recommend Gainesville, Florida. Okay. From what I remember, there were some football games. There were a lot of parties. And next thing you know, I graduate. I have a finance degree. I spend another year with the family, and I realize I don't want to be a stuntman anymore. I'm ready to chart my own path. And of course, I really was not prepared for that. So jumped out of the plane, no parachute, went back to grad school, got an MBA, and that's where I kind of flipped the switch. And it was time to get going and take all the things I'd learned and apply myself. So got connected with the Indy Racing League, helped open up Walt Disney World Speedway in 1996. Here I am, a finance degree, an MBA. I'm carrying TVs up grandstands to put them in race control. Now, mind you, these are the old tube TVs. We're not talking about the flat screens, okay?
That's a weight.
This was not fun. Exactly. I'm there at the back gate at 5 a.m. signing people in with credentials. And I have this moment of an epiphany, like, what is going on? I've got a student loan kicking in. I got to make a living. And I'm carrying TVs up grandstands. And I got a grad degree. Like, this is not going to work out. Luckily, I got hired full-time, spent 3.5 years in Indianapolis as part of the Indy Racing League, had a chance to take the next step up the ladder, got to Joliet, Illinois, and I worked for the France family and the Holman George family. Holman George owned Indy, France family owned NASCAR, and I built Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet. So did that for 3.5 years, had a chance to go back to Indianapolis, spent 7.5 years as the president of that property. Now think about this. here's a guy who grew up as a stuntman, and I'm now in charge of one of the most historic properties on the planet, in charge of the largest single-day sporting event in the world, an event that my grandfather raced in 50 years prior.
Wow.
I am a lucky person. These are things that do not happen. And so I spent 7.5 years doing that. My kiddo at the time, a little young guy, and always wanted to get back to Florida, friends and family, raise your kid around all those things, and had a chance to get down to the NASCAR world. And so hopped on board with the France family. Spent 10.5 years there. I spent a bulk of that as the president of Daytona, led their $400 million renovation of the racetrack. I got promoted to chief operating officer, and I ran 12 of their racetracks, which represented 20 of the NASCAR races. Interesting fact, I was born on February 20th, 1969 in Tampa, Florida. My mom was on her own. My dad was too busy. He was racing a car at Daytona International Speedway. So now I'm the president of Daytona, and my father has a connection to that property. I decide it's time to retire. I have climbed the mountain, racing, love it, great. I'm going to take a year or two off. I'm going to work on the golf game. 2 months later, I get connected to the Arnold Palmer family. I speak family business. I have my ticket stub from the 1992 Nestle Invitational, and was always a big fan of cutting classes in Tampa and driving to Orlando to catch the tournament. When Amy Palmer Saunders and I connected, I knew the pressure that you're on when your namesake's on the wall. And it's all about how do you protect, preserve, and perpetuate that brand. And sometimes families tend to protect or overprotect and lose sight of perpetuate and preserve. So did that for 2.5 years. Jumped ship and ran out to Scottsdale to do a little consulting work for Barrett Jackson, but the PGA Tour came calling and said, we want to run the biggest event in President's Cup history in Chicago. What do you say? I'd like, sign me up. Oh, by the way, will you pay me? Yep, we'll pay you. Great, I'm in. Let's do this thing. And then the last couple of years, I've been parachuting into events to help run them. We took over Palm Beach with 3 months, and then we had 9 months to do the Truist. And I'm in an apartment here in Philly, and I don't know how long I took, but that's a quick version of the Joie Chitwood III history. And at the end of the day, I'm a really lucky person. I'm excited when I have a brand on my shirt and I can talk about how special that brand, that sport, that person is to what we do. And for me, I've charmed life to graduate from a family business to actually being part of some special properties in sports.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, full circle, so many just wow moments for you. Let's kind of maybe lead that into maybe another wow moment. Has there been something in your event or a moment or event in your career that has brought you just personal gratification, maybe a player exemption or a charitable initiative, something like you really helped push through that made like a really lasting impact for you?
There's so many things you could list in terms of what's special and making a difference. To be part of the team that led the planning for the anniversary of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 100 years of this property, and to really help everybody enjoy and celebrate and be part of that was pretty awesome. At Daytona, property is 50 years old. Very old, aged. The seat I sat in, my dad had like 30 tickets ever since I was a young person. I'd go over there as a teenager. When I became president, the seat was the same, a cut off top of a metal folding chair. Mm-hmm. And so being tapped to lead a $400 million renovation, and in essence, to walk in Bill France Sr.'s footsteps and rebuild the Daytona International Speedway, that's a big deal in terms of the NASCAR world and things like that. I think what's really been fun for me in the golf world is there's such a significant charitable focus, right, in terms of what we do and the events that we have, whether it was at Arnold Palmer Invitational and to support the Arnold Palmer Hospital there with his name on it for over 35 years. And so everything we did at the tournament helped supports kids' health in our market. That's a powerful thing when you think about it. I do laugh. We created onesies in the red cardigan look and feel, and any babies that were born at his hospital got that onesie that tournament week. Cool. So we also had fun with it. And probably one thing personal that I'll never, probably it'll stay with me forever. The race car my grandfather had in 1946 that finished 5th, we had it in the museum at Indianapolis. I got to drive it around the racetrack in pre-race activities. So I'm driving my grandfather's race car 50 years later. And I got to tell you a funny story. It's a roadster, right? Engine up front, open cockpit. You got the steering wheel. Okay. The gear shift is between your legs, a clutch and a gas pedal. The brake is a lever on the outside of the car. Okay. So we're cruising around the track, maybe doing 50 or 60, one lap, second lap. All right, we're going to pull in pit lane and really stop at the end of pit lane. Well, pit lane is crowded. There's bands, there's other teams. It's all this stuff. So I go to slow down. I'm like, brake, gear shift, down. Whoa, how do you do this? I don't have enough arms. I can't, brake and downshift, but no hand on the steering wheel. And I'm thinking, don't be the guy that wrecks his grandfather's race car 50 years later. So at that point, discretion is the better part of valor. So I stall that bad boy. And I don't think twice about it because I did not want to be the story of the day to wreck that car. So in all layers of my career, there's been these moments where I whether it's making a difference, doing something so unique to my family's history, that for me, that's what keeps you motivated. That's when, with 2.5 weeks to go and you're working on caffeine and adrenaline, you keep after it because this event will mean so much to so many people. We've announced some phenomenal charitable partners with the First Tee. We're going to have 50 of their students as standard bearers who'll actually get to follow twosomes and keep this right. Think about a young person who might be paired with Rory McIlroy, the Grand Slam winner's twosome, and you get to keep his score for 18 holes. I mean, us as adults would do that in a heartbeat, right? We'd take that all day long. And here you've got a young person in the First Tee program who might have that opportunity. Those are the things I really enjoyed it to make a difference in a young person's life as it relates to the sports, whether it's when I was racing or in golf, but the fact you made a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, that 1992 Nestle, I think Fred Couples won that one at Bay Hill. That was the year he went on to win the Masters, too. He won the Players, the Nestle, and the Masters all within a couple of weeks from each other. But anyway, that being said, I mean, you being a part of putting together some of the biggest events, in motorsports and working with Arnold Palmer, how does that set you up to be the guy to put together a golf tournament in a different venue in only 10 months? I mean, this is a real crunch time situation.
It really is. And, luckily I'm surrounded by a fantastic team from the PGA Tour. I'm just not the only one. I've got some individuals from PGA Tour headquarters who raised their hand and said, I'm in. We've got some other staff from some other parts of the country that have been with the tour for years. And so you kind of assembled a group of folks that have some experience, and we're jumping in because we want to be part of something special. And to pull off one time only the Truist Championship at the Philadelphia Cricket Club, which, by the way, is an absolutely proper venue. What a fantastic venue. The Tillinghast design, it's allowed us to create some experiences we never would have at what I'll call more mainstream builds, i.e. more current. The fact there's two par threes, a front nine and a back nine next to each other. We're building hospitality between the two so you can see both sides of it. But I digress. For me, you want to be part of things that are special. You want to be able to say you did something, you made a difference. And so for me to jump in, happy to do it. Yeah, maybe this week I might be grumbling a little bit because it's tough to catch up on emails and, manage some Prez Cup stuff at the same time. But I'm the kind of guy, look, we only have so much time on this planet, right? And there's a point where people will stop asking you to do stuff. I don't want that to happen. I want to keep this going for a while where people keep asking me to help and participate and jump in. I always love to use this analogy. Imagine we're all cars, and we're running around doing whatever we do. And there's a moment in time in our lives, we're going to pull into the garage for the last time, right? And that car's not going to leave that garage. I want to pull in, and when that engine gets turned off, the tires pop. The steam comes out of the radiator, the antenna's bent, engine falls out, the trunk pops up, there's the windshield is cracked. I want to get every damn mile out of it while I can. I do not want to be the guy that pulls that car in and it's pristine, it's clean, there's no dust on it, looks like it's never been driven. No. I want to wreck the hell out of this thing. I want to put as much scar tissue on it as possible so that I can say I enjoyed, lived, celebrated. I got it all. And that's the way I think you're supposed to do this, right? Don't be the person that woulda, shoulda. Be the person that I didn't like it, doing something I did it. I liked it. I'm doing some more of that. Let's go. And I think that's what energizes me. And look, we all enjoy sport, at least I believe, for the same reasons. We see athletic achievement beyond our own capabilities. We see what we dream we could do. When you watch Rory McIlroy win the Masters and the ebb and flow, the up and down, the emotion of one behind, one up, one behind, hit it in the trap, made a bogey, you have to go to the playoff, and to see him and how resilient he was on that playoff hole to stick it to 3 feet. That's why we watch sports, because we're witnessing something special, and that's what motivates us. So the fact that I get to be the person who sets the stage and lets these athletes put on a show so I can be a small part of it, I think that's the best job you could ask of me. And as you can tell, I don't really get excited about anything. I'm kind of a boring guy, but for me, that's what motivates me. That's what makes me feel so. No matter what it might be, let's give it a good shot at it, and we're going to figure it out. And I've learned my lessons along the way. Daytona, you learn a lot when you've got 252,000 permanent seats. Heck, I think we were doing like 30,000 in GA, so we've got close to 300,000 people on property. Wow. Once you get through that and the planning and effort, you can figure out some of the other events along the way and make sure you've got a good plan. But it starts with a good team. It starts with a great product. Yeah. And you've got to have a great venue. And I think we've got all of that here at Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. Well, talking about the team, I want to give you a chance to talk about the team at Philly Cricket Club. I don't know if there's a golf course that's talked about more than Cricket Club on our show. We love the place. It is my favorite place to play when I get a chance to play it. And we know how special it is, and we know the people that are there and what they're capable of. Now, they have a short runway too, and we know what goes into planning these things for a course. Just talk about that team there and what they've been like to work with.
I can't say enough great things about them. How accommodating, enthusiastic. I mean, just they're so in on what we need to do. And so it starts with Tom Sheridan, their president, who just has a great way to look at the world and really the leadership he displays. But then, you've got Dan Mearsman, who makes sure that property is pristine. The greens are phenomenal. I mean, he's all in on making sure it's ready to take on the PGA Tour players. And then Jim Smith, who's my favorite. Jim pulls no punches. He is as direct and blunt. And let's just say when I ask him, like, hey, is this person, do I need to know? Oh, don't worry about those. Do you want me to handle them? Now, he says that in a different way to me in terms of what he would do with that person. But I'm just kind of editing myself for this show. But I enjoy the heck out of those guys. We have been really aligned from the get-go. And as you guys might imagine, when you're not aligned on your business goals, things can get a little haywire. And we don't have a lot of time left. Pressure's on. But we're all feeling it together in the right way and helping each other perform. And I can't say enough great things about those guys. I've really enjoyed that. And I think this is a perfect event for them, a signature event, top 70, $20 million purse. We could never host a full-size event there. We could never get 144 players. I mean, it's just too intimate of a property for us to manage it. But this signature event, it is a perfect fit. And the history, I mean, goodness, you're walking down their 18 and you get to the little creek and then you read the plaque about how Tillinghast ashes were sprinkled in the creek. That's real history and heritage. That means something. And I think our players are going to appreciate the chance that they never get to play a course like that, but it's got real history and meaning. And really, the backstory of Tillinghast and Crump and all those guys hanging out at Cricket Club. That was their place, but then they're out there designing all these other courses. So I think it's a really unique story, and happy that we get to help tell it with the Cricket Club as it relates to hosting the event.
Very cool. Very cool.
How did it all come about where, because they've known that they were going to have the the PGA at Quail Hollow now for quite a few years. How did it all come about where Cricket Club was the club that was chosen, and it was sort of forced to be scrunched up into a 10-month window?
We can all say planning. It never really works out that way. It's how do you pivot to the opportunities that are presented. Cricket Club has been on our radar since about 2015, 2016 when they hosted that senior event. And I think that's when it's like, Constellation. Yeah. Like there's something there. What could work? What might fit? But again, knowing the size and the space constraints, we really couldn't think of it. Well, Truist event or Truist taking over from Wells Fargo, Quail Hollow, we have to find a one-off location. It's a signature event, top 70. Hey, let's maybe give these guys a ring. This might actually work. I think Philadelphia as well. When you think about markets that you want to be in, think about this sports crazy town, right? Yeah. We think golf is underserved in this market. We see some indicators that tell us, wow, there should be some more. Well, there you go. I share an example with everybody that has blown me away. The first tee, Bill Hyman and his team.
They're the best. They're the best. Yep.
Yeah, they're the best.
They're running 2 of the munis for the city of Philadelphia.
Yep.
The point. They're so successful with Walnut Lane. They do their own capital campaign, build their own clubhouse, classrooms in the back. No other first tee chapter in the U.S. is running courses, let alone capital campaign to build a clubhouse. Major props to them. But they also take a course that wasn't performing as well, and now they're putting about 40,000 rounds a year on it.
That's amazing.
That tells you that just from that side of golf, there's some interest here. Now, we all know these signature properties, right? The other esteemed country clubs in market. If there's a chance to find a location that could host an annual event, I think there'd be a lot of people interested. I think that's probably a challenge, though, because you're not going to find, I think, the same appetite for annual event at some of the private venues. So who knows where it leads, but I think everything I've seen, I would tell you that Philadelphia and golf go quite well together. And maybe some folks out there will see that as well. And who knows if they can come up with a plan to figure it out. But
we hope so.
I'd be a big fan of it. I've really enjoyed the reception. It's been really well done. And again, we've sold out Friday. We sold out Saturday with grounds. We sold out 68 of 68 suites.
Wow.
We have seen a phenomenal response. We still have some products left. The 1854 Lounge. I got to tell you guys, I've been doing this a while, right? I've been selling hospitality for a long time in my life, selling tickets. We have a venue at the Cricket Club. I have never seen a venue like this. It's 2 stories, 1854 Lounge. And so I'll speak in tournament routing. You can see 5 holes from this venue. You get the awesome. 14th green, you get the 15th tee box, the 17th green, the 18th tee box, and the 2nd green. I'd buy a ticket and never leave the venue. I'd just go from rail to rail to rail because I could see so much of it. Again, that's a Tillinghast design. We could capitalize on this intimate course and fit this one venue in one location. I don't think any other golf course right now who hosts a PGA Tour event has a venue like that you can see 5 different holes. So again, we're taking advantage. Take advantage of what you have, create something special and unique. And for those that get to be in there, and I think Tom Sheridan, the president of the club, is going to be in there. I know that's going to be one of our better venues we've ever built.
Yeah, and we're going to talk. We're going to be doing some giveaways next week on Fox Sports The Gambler for the Michelob Ultra Club, which will be in there as well. We will be broadcasting live on Friday, which we're really looking forward to getting out there and doing the show live from there. So we talk about an embarrassment of riches in Philadelphia when it comes to the golf courses here. Have you had the chance to experience any of the other golf in the area?
I have. So I did get to sample the course that'll host the PGA Championship next year.
Very nice.
So we've got a really nice relationship with PGA of America. Ryan Ogle, I think, is doing a great job. We've got some back and forth in terms of we're doing some things to help him out for our event. And so had a chance to sneak over there to Aronimink, got to play that. So again, quite impressive. I don't know if I have any time in my calendar because, this event's going to happen and I've got to go back to Chicago. Would love to sample Marion. I make a joke in my life. I have done a really good job of playing bad golf at good golf courses.
Same.
And so I've had a chance to maybe scratch Augusta off my list, and Pine Valley and Cypress and a couple others, Chicago Golf Club, Oakmont. Who knew that people wanted garage passes so much in the NASCAR world that they would let somebody like me play on some golf courses? We worked it all out. But I will tell you, I think I really enjoy just a good walk on some of these majestic properties, the design elements, the uniqueness of it. And it does put in perspective how challenging it is to be a professional golfer when you let a guy like me hack it around, and you just say, how do these guys do it? And then how do they do it when the rope line is full, the TV's on you, and you've got that pressure of everybody in the venue rooting for or against you? It takes it to another level. Again, it's how special sport is for people to perform when they need to hit the last second shot, hit that wedge to 3 feet to make the putt to win it, and all the other things that we dream of to win your championships or win your biggest events. So I'm very impressed when I see these guys, and the difference between, the best and the guy who's 125th might be a half a stroke around. I mean, it is minuscule, and it just shows you how much talent is out there, and anybody can win at any time.
Yeah, no doubt. When you're putting something together like this that takes so much lead up time, and preparation and everything, then when the event actually starts, is the pressure off then, or is it really just beginning and then you got the whole week to sort of ride it out until Sunday night?
That's a great question. I've seen some interesting things in my life where, you can have the greatest plans in the world, right? But it's really how you respond to the things you didn't plan for that's going to drive success or not. And I can remember back in the day, we were building some racetracks, and we had a team. It was their first event. They didn't have any other events to run before that, and they had a great plan, but they had a couple things, some curveballs, and it kind of got them kind of in a tizzy a little bit because they weren't thinking about that. It's another team who'd been, scar tissue from running drag strip, a short track, a this, or that. And so when it came time to run the big track, they were ready for whatever came their way, and you just deal with it. There's moments of time you get frustrated, right? You want the event to come off perfect. And I always am a big fan of, hey, solve the problem, get mad later, right? There's a moment in time you're going to get mad. You have to. You put a lot of effort into it. We put 9 months into it. There's going to be a moment where I'm going to be frustrated because something doesn't play out. But I just got to solve the problem. And after that round, that night, I can vent my frustration. But I got to focus on fixing the issue at hand, make sure you do a good job with it. And I think having a team with experience who knows that you never have a perfect event. And as long as you know that going in, you're not going to be surprised when you get the curveball, and you just got to go deal with it and fix it. Transportation will be fun for us. That's probably been the number one limiting factor in terms of trying to garner as many parking lots and locations out there, different shuttles for different customers. I think we've got a pretty good plan, but first day or two, we'll learn some things we probably hadn't thought of just yet, and we'll fine tune along the way and get better and better. That one side of the Valley Green Road, you have a 7-foot height restriction. So we really only have one road in and one road out. That's wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. One road in, one road out. How do we do this? And so I think our ops guys have done a really good job of thinking through that. I will say we identified a fantastic rideshare location right on the opposite side of Militia Hill Golf Course, where fans can then walk across Militia Hill right to the main entrance to the Wissahickon. Nice. I would highly recommend that. We actually got lucky in finding that perfect location. We've got great parking lots. We'll have great shuttles, but rideshare is a safer option based on its location and the ability then to walk to the entrance once you're dropped off.
Awesome. Joey, listen, thank you so much for joining us. Truist Championship Philly Cricket Club starting May 7th. We will be out there on that Friday broadcasting live. Make sure you come and see us, and stay tuned all next week. Fox Sports The Gambler will be giving away passes for the Michelob Ultra Club, which offers you're right. That 17th and 18th, right, Joe? You're right in between. You'll have it. Just is like you talked about some of the different spots in there. It's like no other place.
I'll share one last thing. Our competition guys who set up the course love 17 and 18. Two long, tight par fours. You want to win this event? Great. You're going to score on 14. You're going to score on 15, which we're playing as the par five, maybe even 16, the par three. You better hold on tight to win. You're going to have to play two really long, tight holes. We're talking like 485, 500-yard par fours. And that's going to separate everybody. And whoever does hoist that trophy up, they will have earned it by surviving those two finishing holes.
Love it. And sounds also great logo, by the way. We were checking it out at the press day. Awesome logo. Yeah. You're going to sell some merch. We know that for sure. Philly people love merch. Joie Chitwood, thank you for joining us. We'll have to get you on before the President's Cup as well to talk about Medina in the next round. Yeah. But we'll let you worry about that in a couple weeks.
Yeah. A couple weeks. Just give me a couple weeks and we'll get there. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate the time.
Thanks, Joe. All right, let's take a quick break and we will be right back. All right, welcome back to Swing It and Ding It. Great to talk to Joie Chitwood. I was impressed by Joey when we were out there at the media day. Like you could tell that guy, I mean, he's got the energy, he's got the experience. When you run an event like the Daytona 500, everything else is not as hard.
Right. Yeah. He can work the room. I mean, he knows how to work the room. And
yes.
I mean, it's just amazing what they've been able to do when you realize the time constraints, putting together an event like this in a different venue in 10 months is pretty crazy, and I think it's going to come off, perfectly.
Yep.
And the Philly community is so excited to embrace it. I don't know how many people I've had message me being like, do you have a connection with tickets? Like literally so many people. So I think there's going to be a really solid turnout.
It's interesting too.
Use rideshare, guys.
Use rideshare. When they talked about the fact that it is a signature event, right? I didn't really think of that, right? Because it's a smaller field,
right? Smaller
they're
field,
able to do it.
Size,
but it is such a massive event because it's a signature event. It's interesting. Like if the format were as it were a couple of years ago, the tournament would not be here. So very, very interesting. Another classic venue. We look at the RBC Heritage. JT gets win number 16. Man, his first in 3 years. Comes out firing, gets the course record of 61 on Thursday. He then goes, I think, 69, 69. And then it was all about Sunday, back and forth. And Novak, right, who's been on the leaderboard and
he's been lurking.
He's been lurking.
I've been talking about him for a while.
Yeah, you have been, Harry. You've been on him, and he was close. But
player in the NEPA Invitational,
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. But JT gets it done, and you can see another guy who the emotion comes out of him. 3 years is a long time for a guy who had 15 wins at that point, right? Like this isn't a guy who just has a couple wins and trying for another one. Like this is a guy who's expecting to win every week he goes out there. So
call me crazy, but I feel like Bud Cauley is starting to have some success, kind of put a little spark under JT. I feel like he's like, hey, that's my boy. Like, look at him, like kind of like get it back together, let's go. And he's been kind of surging up the leaderboard since that.
Yeah. And how does Max Homa feel? Not only is he playing like crap, and including last week, but his caddy goes on and wins with a new guy, a new bag in 2 weeks, and he was reading a lot of the putts for him. That was very interesting.
How about that? Right? Yeah. I mean, you saw the embrace as you always do on 18, but that's interesting because Max played really well in the Masters.
He did, right? He did,
and then JT gets a win.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, 1,064 days, 2 years, 11 months. You mentioned it, almost 3 years, Moose, between wins. And he goes bogey free in the final round, just 3 under par for a 68. But he had a really conservative approach throughout the entire round, especially on the par 5, the 15th, the only one on that back side. And he ends up making birdie, but a lot of guys were trying to take it up over the trees and cut the corner. You saw Scotty do it and end up in the water, and basically that was the end of his tournament. He was trying to make a run. He had to do that, because he's not playing for 5th place. He's trying to win it. But, JT took a very conservative approach about it, and he kind of did that throughout the week. He was sort of plotting his way around that golf course and made the clutch par on 16th after he hit it over the green. And then they get to 18, and Novak has a 10-foot putt to win the tournament. And you're thinking, man, this is it. He's going to be wearing a tartan jacket, and he misses it. And as soon as he missed that, I said to my wife, it's over. JT is the winner. Like, I just knew Novak wasn't going to win it. And, only took one hole, and he makes a 21-footer for birdie to clinch it. And you just saw, not like Rory the week before, but the relief was palpable. And you could see his dad. Yeah. His dad was reacting, I think, way more than JT was in the moment. And you could just see he's basically breaking down. He was going bananas. So, yeah.
And the most watched final round of the RBC Heritage in 23 years.
Is that right?
4.362 million viewers. The average number of fans who turned, out this past weekend. And then that was up from last year's 2.15 mil over Scheffler's win. Yeah. So, 2.15 to 4.362.
Wow.
JT
Interesting.
Fans.
Looking at the leaderboard, Berger, who continues to improve, gets the T3 guys. Berger,
65
Hughes,
on Sunday. Yeah,
that's right.
Yep.
Harman, who Harman's going to be on the Ryder Cup team.
Yeah.
It's just,
much to your chagrin.
Maverick McNeely, another guy in the T3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fleetwood at 7th. Then you had a bunch at T8. Siwoo, who was threatening for a while.
And
that's where Scheffler and Sungjae were, along with Henley. Now, talk to me about Scheffler for a little bit, right? Because it's just weird when he doesn't win.
Yeah.
Like, do you think he's still figuring some stuff out? I still think it was a setback with the injury. I've talked about it like pretty much every week on the show, but I don't know. Something just looks like it's not totally clicking for him.
Well, I kind of think it's the weight of expectation.
Really?
Trying to follow up a year like he had last year with all those wins, the gold medal, and just dominant. He was dominant on the PGA Tour. Outside of Schauffele's 2 major wins, he dominated the tour.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to how do I live up to that? And he had the issue in the off season, which, set him back. But I don't think it's so much that now as it's like, man, now I haven't won in 3 months or whatever it is. Here we are past the match.
I still feel like it's kind of lingering injury. I don't know. I just think mentally how he is and just, how he's
his frustration is showing every week now. He did it last week too. Slammed that club. He took it back from the caddy and bam, like he wanted to break it.
Yeah. But even at the thing, like, hey, I'm going to walk out, like, let's just go for the middle of the green, pack it up and go home. So it's like, there's different things, that frustration that would support Harry's case. And then the other thing just being like, I'm getting $8,000 a shot. It's not like I need to grind it out here.
He's going to get a win one of these weeks. And I feel like that's just going to set him right back on
the resurgence.
Path. Good. Because he's, it's not like he's in 30th, right? Or like,
well, that's the thing. This cuts. Lingering issue, this mental whatever,
fifth,
and it's
seventh.
What he's finishing. Second, fifth,
with his B- or C game. Sixth. He's still like in the top 10. Yeah.
Still force.
Well, another tough break, if you will, was the Corrales Punta Cana Open. Joel Damon, he was the winner in 21. He's up 1 with 3 to play. Goes bogey on 16, 17 inside 2 feet, misses the putt. Bogey, 18 bogey. Here goes your winner.
Yeah.
And he's been gracious with the press. He's been talking about he's a very open person. I think Full Swing really brought that out of him last year. Yeah. But man,
his quote,
that was tough to watch.
Yeah. If anyone is wondering what it feels like to give away a golf tournament, it sucks. I'm learning from it, and we'll have another chance. The amount of support and well wishes I've received has been amazing. I want to thank everyone for that onward and upward. But oh my God, I mean, wire to wire. Like when I was looking at a scorecard the first day, I was like, how is anybody going to touch that? And then the second day, like everybody shot like 10 under the first day, like bogey free, just like 9, 10 birdies. Like, yeah, that's tough. And then Moose just recapped that ending for us. Like, I probably still wouldn't be able to sleep if that were me.
No, me either. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be staying off vodka like I am if I had.
Put right back on.
No question about it.
Right
back on the wagon.
I would have injected into my veins. Kidding me?
The jugular, not even.
Right. Yeah. That was pretty brutal, man. I tell you. But getting back to the other tournament, I mean, Ludwig Oberg, a disappointing T54, and you talk about a guy who's just out of gas right now and needs a rest. I just hope
he's so young too. I think we keep forgetting about that. I mean,
yeah. But he just looks like a guy who's shot right now and needs hopefully he comes back for ready to go for the Truist. But Tigala, Homa, we mentioned, and Dunlap, dead last. I mean, the poor play continues.
You know what's funny? I just think about it. Think about our own games, right? Like that. It's just golf is so crazy how like you can go out there one day and be like, man, I just everything is just clicking. I'm feeling it. And the you could play the next day and that is gone.
Yeah.
Right. So
completely.
To see what Scotty did last year with that kind of consistency and the great players over the years that are always in the top 10, top 5, it's insane. For people that listen and people like us who play it at a completely different level, just to know how hard of a game it is. And even the shortest putts, how you have to concentrate to get that ball in the hole. It's just not going to go in. It's pretty nuts. It really is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And we're playing with 2 or 3 of our buddies, not in front of anybody, not with any money, not with job security, not with anything on the line. Well,
there's money.
Okay, so you're $10 a hole versus
it's money out of your pocket.
Yeah. But all the other things, I mean money on the line, not like play money on the line.
Well, let's talk real quick about our friends at Buy My Balls. Tee off with top tier golf balls without the top tier price. BuyMyBalls.com. Top quality recycled premium brands for a fraction of the price. Go to BuyMyBalls.com. That's balls with a Z. I just placed another order with some rounds coming up. It's great. It's just for what I need, not paying that crazy number, which drives me crazy, especially courses. Like I went down to Hammock Beach.
Did you lose a few at Hammock Beach?
I anytime there's something beach,
right?
You're going to lose some golf balls.
There's water.
There's water. Yeah. But listen, let me just tell you. I have a shirt on it. Hammock Beach, what an awesome, pleasant surprise that place was. Our friend Louis, who we had on, was kind enough to host me for a round on the Ocean course, which is incredible.
The Jack Nicklaus one? That's
the Jack Nicklaus with 6 holes on the Ocean. Listen, I was getting Teeth of the Dog vibes when I was there.
Really?
I was getting a tiny little bit of the, Monterey Peninsula, some of the whole, like I'm telling you, it just is an awesome place. First of all, Lewis is a player, by the way. This guy did not miss a fairway the entire time we played. He was tapping in birdies left and right. Awesome guy to play with. We had a blast. We played with this other guy, Nick, who just played with us, who was chipping like I've never seen a human being chip in my life. But just a blast. I mean, the course was it's so good. And I think there's some news coming up about, I know Lewis kind of talked about it, but the Champions Tour event coming back there, and rightfully so, because it's beautiful. But to me, it is the perfect place for, like, you have some couples that want to do a trip. Now, whether the ladies play or not, or whether you have a bunch of guys, couples that go and the guys play and the girls still have like an amazing time, or with families, with kids, because there's plenty to do with families. The place was awesome. The restaurants were incredible. Lewis's wife is the general manager at Delfino's, which was one of the best restaurants I've eaten at in a long time. Right on property, several restaurants. Yes, I mean, just tremendous. The kids had a blast. The pool, huge, like 5 pools, lazy river, beautiful beach.
Great wine list, he was saying.
Oh yeah, I took advantage. I took advantage of that.
Were you able to play the Watson or course?
No, I just got one in. Got one round in, because it was a different type of trip. It was like we were going away for spring break, and I was sneaking in around. But but I enjoyed myself. It was some of the holes back on the Ocean were some of the prettiest golf holes I've ever played, for sure. So make sure you check it out, and I would definitely put it on the list. Plus the cool part is too, like if you're going down with a group, where you're located, right? You're 15-20 minutes from St. Augustine. You have the World Golf Hall of Fame. Like everything is so close. You could do like a trip with a whole bunch of other places too. But
Ponte Vedra's not that far up the coast either.
No. Yeah. Great spot, great location. And if you get a chance, check it out. Tell them Moose sent you. Yeah, you don't pay for nothing. Yeah, great time.
What kind of rental clubs did they hook you up with?
They were great. They were a Titleist,
Nice.
Actually, I think it was actually a Callaway like Woods.
Oh, okay.
But they were good. They were really good clubs. Really good
Nice.
clubs. The putter, I was hot with the putter
Hot with the
actually.
putter.
Beautiful.
Yeah, almost took that sucker home with me. But yeah, great stuff.
Funny,
Thank
you
you,
play
Lewis.
with a rental set like that. You're like, let's go. I'm ordering this, and then you get home, you get it. You're like,
Doesn't
I don't
play
know.
this. Doesn't
Somebody
play the
else like
same.
worked the magic into the
Yeah,
set before.
yeah.
Like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
something's
But I'm
not
talking to
right.
those
It's not
guys.
how I
Hopefully,
remember this.
Right?
hoping to have some trip giveaways with the Swing It and Ding It family. We'll be doing maybe at our golf outing to get some
Amazing.
people down there to experience it, because it's an awesome property. I mean, once you're there and you pull into the property, it's like, you don't need to leave the place for days. There's plenty to do.
Did you fly into
That's at a
Jacksonville?
Combo America.
Yeah, and my in-laws have a place in like the border of Daytona and Ormond, which is about another 30 miles south. But even when I stay there, I use Jacksonville because it's a maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes further than a drive to Orlando, but not dealing with Orlando Airport or that I-4. Like, to me, Jacksonville's the move when you're flying there. It was easy in and out, no problems.
Very good.
Piece of cake. Yeah.
Smooth.
Danielle, you got some tea?
We sure do.
Spill it.
All right. So I don't know if you guys saw this. We have U.S. Open qualifying starting to come out. And Moose, I kind of thought of you with this one because it's a little hockey.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Rangers JT Miller is trying to qualify for the 2025 U.S. Open. So that news has circulated. People are releasing kind of the list of people who are trying to qualify, and he was on there. So thought that was a little fun tidbit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pinehurst announces construction of 11th course by Corin Crenshaw. So another course is coming to Pinehurst Sand Mines. This one will be built, as I said, by Corin Crenshaw and is expected to open fall of 2027. So some of the drone flyovers, Golf Digest, or pardon me, golf.com had out. It's pretty cool looking, tons of property, but I mean, 11th course.
A big group of guys from the Legacy Club just went last week. I think there was like 8-10 guys. They had a blast. Played like 5 or 6 courses. Rave reviews. I've yet to go. That's at the top of the list for sure. They said it was incredible. So and everyone says like they played 2, but they played 10. Everyone loves 10 as well. So yeah, it's definitely a great spot.
The natural area down there is perfect for Core Crenshaw designs too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's going to be stunning. Yeah. Prep for the Open Championship. There is a house on the drive-in. I don't know if anybody's
saw that right
seen
before
this.
We got on. Yeah.
The side of the house has a what is this? 1, 2, maybe 2, 3-story mural of Shane Lowry holding like the Open Championship.
The claret
jug in his hands, just like smiling with like the course in the background. The entire house, like I said, like 2, 3-story house painted on there. So I don't know if they're relatives, extreme fans, combination of the two.
Well, they're Irish. They're all relatives.
Yeah. You know.
Seriously. They're all related in some way, shape, or form.
Being a Philly podcast, obviously, we try to share as much Philly news as possible. This one, not so great. Unfortunate news. Jay Siegel, the most accomplished USA Walker Cup player of all time, has passed away. So saw that news coming out.
Philly golf royalty, right, Harry?
Literal royalty.
I mean,
9 appearances in the USA Walker Cup, 18 victories, 33 matches, overall record 18-10-5.
There's an argument to be made that he's the greatest amateur player ever and should be in the Hall of Fame. 2-time U.S. Am champ, 3-time U.S. Mid-Am champ. He won the British Amateur. You mentioned about the 9 Crump Cup winners, the 9 Walker Cups, Danielle. He was the low guy, the low amateur at the Masters 3 times. He's won the Pennsylvania Amateur 10 times. He won the Pennsylvania Open 4 times, the PGA Champions Tour Rookie of the Year, the Bob Jones Award winner, and also raised tons of money, millions and millions of dollars for cancer research by hosting his own event for over 30 years over at Aronimink. So what a legacy that Jay Siegel has left. And he was battling cancer for a long time, and he fought hard, and it's a big loss. And I was glad to hear that Jim Nantz mentioned that on the broadcast on Sunday.
Yeah,
well done.
Doubt. No doubt.
Yep, that wraps the tea for me.
All right. Well, let's talk about the Zurich Classic. It's funny. I hadn't watched a bunch of the Full Swing episodes, so I downloaded them for the plane ride, and I was rewatching the Rory Lowry Zurich Classic
karaoke
one.
That's been circulating all over because I was like trying to find more news, and it's like this is last year, but it just kept popping up.
Yeah. Billy Horschel withdrew. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
So just in case you're getting your picks in, make
He's
sure
going to play with Hoagie.
Check that out.
They were actually a pretty good tandem. I was looking at them. Yeah.
There's some good matchups, though.
There are a lot of good teams. It's an interesting event. I mean, you talk about Rory. I mean, apparently he went, I guess, to see his mom and dad for a couple of days after winning the Masters in the green jacket. And he's having a good time, and apparently got sick a little bit. He was under the weather for a couple of days, so I don't know what kind of shape he's going to be in to play this with the hangover of the Masters. Had he not won the Masters, I would have definitely taken Shane Lowry this week to piggyback to get Rory for nothing in the one and done. But now that he won the Masters, you just pick the other guy, and then you get the bigger player for free. It doesn't cost you a Rory McIlroy use. So now that he won, it's kind of thrown into I took a different grouping, but the TPC Louisiana, this has been a team event since 2016, 2017. It's a par 72, 7,435 yards. It's a Pete Dye design, a lot of Pete Dye designs on the PGA Tour. Back in 2004, the average green size, 5,225 square feet, and they stimp around 12. They're POA overseed on the greens and collars, and the fairways, approaches, and rough are all various forms of Bermuda grass. There's 106 bunkers, 5 water hazards, and water is in play on 8 of the 18 holes. It's long with smallish greens and really, really flat. The final 3 holes, the 16th is a short par 4. When they move the tees up, it's drivable. It measures 355 typically, but they can move the tees up. There's water left of the green. The 17th is a long par 3 with water all the way up the left-hand side, a long one at 215 yards. And then the 18th is a long par 5, 585 yards, slight dogleg left. Or dogleg right, with water all up the right-hand side. A lot of water on the closing holes. It's just a fun event. The different formats. I think Keegan Bradley is going to have an eye on this event to see how maybe certain guys play together. That Novak and Griffin team, I think, could be a team to watch. And Keith Mitchell with JT Poston. I think that could be a pretty interesting. The Hoygaards are teaming together for.
I'm just looking. Europe. I'm looking through them right now.
Luke Donald's going to be looking at that one. So there you go for the Penn Club at second. I don't think they have this one in their library, the TPC Louisiana, but typical Pete Dye.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, we talked about it a little bit, but we're proud to announce our new partnership with BetParx Casino and Sportsbook. Our new sponsor of the Swing It and Ding It program. It's been a long time coming, trying to work out with those guys. We feel like it's a great opportunity for us too, with the local Parks partnership. We're going to be getting out there, doing some live events out at Parks, doing some fun, some contests, getting out there for the majors. So excited to start with those guys. Harry, you have a long history with in the business, if you will, with the BetParx family.
Many a live read and many a shows out at Parks Casino in Ben Salem. Absolutely. Love those guys. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And you could start doing the live reads next week, but I'll knock this one out for us because not just golf, but Philadelphia baseball is back, as you know, Harry. I mean, say what you will about Philadelphia baseball right now, but there's money to be won, and baseball is back. Bet individual player performances in baseball like player hits, home runs, RBIs, strikeouts, and much more. The BetParx Sportsbook and online casino app has you covered. But whether Philadelphia baseball or your favorite pro baseball team wins or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParx Sportsbook and online casino app. The only app I use and recommend to bet on sports and to play all my favorite casino games in the palm of my hand. Play with live dealers, play blackjack, roulette, craps, poker, and hot online slots like Cash Eruption, 88 Fortunes, and Cleopatra online slots. Play online slots based on your favorite streaming shows: Walking Dead, Squid Game, Breaking Bad, and Peaky Blinders, and all your favorite classic casino games from wherever you are. New users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Go to betparx.com and download the app right now and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You must be 21 in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. You love to play, you play to win, you bet. BetParx. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah,
Thanks to our friends at BetParx.
I wonder if our producer placed a couple of wagers on the Mets these last couple of days.
I hope he
They
did.
swept the Phillies. Big Mets fan that he is. He must be living. He's loving life right now. Rory won the Masters. Then JT won last week, which he has indicated are his guys. And then the Mets sweep the Phillies. So it's a good time.
Yeah.
Good time to borrow some money from Powers.
Yeah, and he's using his poor daughter to get him out on golf courses too.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, pimping kids. It's
and he's closing deals though. The guy's closing deals right now.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you gotta give it to the guy. He's out there. He's out there closing. But Harry, one of the other guys in that when we see the line here, you have Rory and Lowry. Obviously, they're going to be hard to touch at plus 360.
Yeah.
Then you have Kitayama and Morikawa at 1,600, and then the Poston team. Poston and Mitchell at 1,600. You're not liking the Kitayama Morikawa team.
No.
I took I know he's not playing great, but the Aaron Ryan Tagala team at 2,200.
Wow.
I just have a feeling on those guys this week.
So would you take Rye?
I think I actually
because you get
yeah
exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
But I like them on the BetParx app as well, that 2,200 number. I don't know. I just got a feeling those guys are going to click and play well this week.
Well, Rye can hit it straight. That's for sure. We know that out of that pairing. If they can sink some putts, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
who'd you go with?
You mentioned Hoagie's out, so I wonder, or Horschel's out. I wonder if they're going to repair Hoagie with an alternate, or if he's out too.
They did.
Oh, they did.
Yep.
Do you know who it was?
Let me
Did
find
they
out right
indicate
now.
who it was?
They said it was the first alternate. Let's see.
Because I think Nick Cale took Billy Horschel and Tom Hogue. I'm not going to
It's
let
not
him
Nick
know.
Cale. They did not pair him with Nick Cale.
No, I'm not going to let him know that he withdrew. Hopefully, he'll just get a 0.
Oh, Kevin Chappell. First alternate,
okay.
Kevin
Wow.
Chappell.
He's
He's played in this tournament. He's played in this tournament.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He was a winner in San
I'm
Antonio
not going to let
a few
him
years
know.
ago.
Let him just get the 0. I like it.
No, I'm just going to let him get the 0. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm with you, Harry. Don't tell
What
him.
am I, Google? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not the
Not
news
reminding you.
man.
There's no moments.
But Novak and Griffin, I like in a top 10.
Oh, that's a good. I didn't realize they're playing together.
Mitchell and Poston, you mentioned. I like that. First round leader. Mitchell is an unbelievable first round leader guy. And Poston can make putts. So that's an interesting pairing. But I took Grazerman and Echevarria.
They've both
Nico
been
and
trending.
Max.
I mean,
I like that.
Yeah,
That's
Max
my
has
team.
been just
Yeah.
Huh,
I took
I
Max
might be onto
because I might
something.
use Nico later in the year in one of the like Rocket Mortgage or something like that. So I took Grazerman as my guy.
I could see that Eric Cole top 10ing. That Eric Cole team top 10ing too.
Who's his
Saunders.
Who's Eric's partner?
Saunders.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Well, they're big
Cam
buddies.
Saunders, yeah.
Yeah, they're big friends. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They probably played a ton of golf together
Right.
too. They know each other's games like they know their own. So
Yeah.
I actually like this event. It's the team stuff.
Yeah.
I
It's
know
fun.
we might
Course
rip it
goals.
on when it comes to live, but I think one team event, 2 team events a year is kind of cool.
Especially like in between the majors, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's there's something
Kind of a
to break it
laid
up
back-
And
little
it's
bit.
and it's different than live too. It's not
Yeah.
like there's music and shorts. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
and the different formats with the alternate shot and then
There's
playing the same
alligators and
ball,
great
like-
food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Great
they always
food.
set up this big thing where all the chefs from New Orleans, from Bourbon Street and stuff, come out and bring all their wares. It must be awesome. To eat that.
We were out there 2 years ago. It was a blast. I mean,
Yeah, I bet that's right. You were.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. They got 7th. Didn't they get a T7?
yeah, they
that
finished
year?
7th. Yeah, and Sean. Yeah. He almost played this year. He
My
thought about
memory's
it.
still pretty good.
I mean, your memory's incredible, Harry. So is your new haircut.
Yeah, you like that?
I do. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. Thank
Looking
you.
good. Looking good. All right. Well, thank you to Joie Chitwood.
Yeah.
A reminder, just we'll post it too, but we're going to be giving away passes. They're awesome too, right between 17 and 18.
Beautiful.
Yeah, some drinks in there, cushion
Michelob
seating.
Ultra. Is that the Ultra?
Michelob
thing you
Ultra
said?
Lounge. Yeah. Yep.
Nice,
We'll have him, and we'll be roaming around there too, so you can hang out with us. And more to come on that next week. And then if you're out there on Friday, we will be broadcasting live with Sean Brace with Fox Sports The Gambler from 2 to 5. So we'll post where we're going to be set up, so you can come say hi.
I'm going to be doing some video on Monday at the Golf Association of Philadelphia's Play Day at Bluebell for their website. Going to be going around with a foursome and videotaping a lot of our golf, and I'll be talking to all the folks. So it'll be pretty kind of a fun event.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing that content.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks again, Joie Chitwood, and thanks for listening. Back next week.